Hi everyone, Adrian here, and welcome back to Wild Bush and Grit. Today I have something very special. I want you to witness how I prep for an expedition, and this specifically is for a winter camping trip. And I actually have a custom-made teepee for me that I want to try out that I just received. Super excited. It looks really cool. And some of the usual gear that I use during winter camping, but I really wanted to try the teepee with a wood stove inside. So let's go out in the backyard. There's a lot of snow at the moment. Let's set everything up. I'll spend the night in the teepee tonight in my backyard to make sure that everything is in order, working fine, and before actually heading out in the wild. So come out and play. Okay, so I'd like to walk you through some of the features of my teepee. I found this company in Quebec and they're making custom tent. I called the lady that owns the place. I gave her a few specifications of things that I needed, and she also helped me into making some decisions. And the first thing I wanted was a teepee that had 10 feet of diameter and 7 feet in height. Obviously, being a hot tent, hot teepee, the first thing you'll see is I have a chimney here with a silicone ring to it to make sure, because that chimney can get really hot, and the silicone makes it so it doesn't come into contact with the actual canvas or cotton. So right now it's kind of buried in the snow, but I have around 9 pegs on the ground holding the circumference of the teepee. And right now they're kind of buried, but here is one of the I got it from Amazon. And for all the lines, the teepee didn't come with the Guylines, so I had to buy. I got roughly 100 meters of paracord. I chose orange because it's high visible and no tripping. And there is one thing that I can say right now is the way I did my guideline, I want to avoid this. Because yesterday I was lucky, it was only -1, so it was fairly okay. I could, with my bare hand, make some knots to attach the guideline. But this is not something I want to do when it's like -10, -20. I definitely don't want to tie my guideline by hand. So the idea that I come up today, I went to the hardware store and I bought some metal thingy here that I will hook through the loops that I have here. And then my guideline are going to be looped in advance, so I will just need to kind of loop it. And one thing that I want, a modification that I already made to this, is actually to bend the loops even more, so it doesn't come up that easily in case there is high wind or something. Because I'm sure even as is, it's going to be okay if there's enough tension. I wanted it to be a little bit more secure than just as is. So I think a little bit tighter is going to be. So let's give this loop a try. It should come out fairly easy. And here I'm going to use this. Sorry, I can't film while I'm making my actual, but it's a very simple thing. And voila, so having this set up this way, it won't be necessary to make knots on site when I have these things. So I can wear my glove and set this up this way. So that's first modification that I'm going to do based on experience I had setting it up yesterday night. Some other feature that I have is the door. The door is it's a zip. It's a YKK zip, good quality, and it has a good size. It rises about 5 feet, so I don't need to hunch much to get inside. At the base of the teepee, I have a snow skirt here, if you can see. So it's it gives a little flap, so I can add snow around and prevent wind from coming under it. And actually, yesterday I was kind of lucky because it was still snowing, so a nice skirt of snow, natural skirt of snow, came around the teepee, so which is great. Here on this side, you can see there is a vent with mosquito mesh. So if I decided to use this tent in the summer, well, it's going to be mosquito ready. I think for summer I still use another tent, and keep this one for winter. But we kept it as an option, just to make sure. And I can open and close it from the inside. Here on top of the teepee, I have another loop that maybe at some point, if I'm under a tree or something, I could actually secure it also with a string. And voila! So this is my setup. For the Guylines, what I would suggest to you is to have to keep them at various length, and always keep a good 30 yards of paracord with you, which is uncut, that you might find handy. So for example, if I was in a wooded area and maybe there was like a few trees around me, what I could be doing is having my paracord coming through here, around the tree, then through another loop here, then around another tree, instead of actually having to peg them down on the ground. The interior is quite spacious, so I can even put my sled inside, some of my gear. I have the stove at the back. I have like a small chair, and I have the sleeping bag on this side. So right now I find the sleeping bag, the sleeping area is a little bit too close to the stove. I'll find a way to actually give a little bit more room. One thing that bothers me is actually that was on my request. I asked her to have some loop on the inside. On the outside where we have our loop, I wanted to have another series of loop on the inside, like this, and I have them all around the tent, so I could hang some stuff and store some item. Let's say I have like a wet piece of gloves, that I could use a piece of string between two loops, so I could actually hang items. The problem is, and I discovered that late during my first night, but this thing here absorbs moisture from the outside. So it was snowing, that thing here is getting wet. This is dry, okay? This is super dry. But this thing here gets wet, and somehow all the water comes through this and starts dripping. And I had 3 of those above my sleeping bag, and I was wet during the night. So I was receiving moisture. So you could even see here on the mattress here, I have some water that has been dripping. I'll need to find a solution for this. Like, I'm not sure exactly what. I know how it's happening, but I don't know how I can prevent it from now. And I'll need to think it through. So probably I'm gonna wax the exterior of this to make them. What I need to do now, and this product was recommended by Tam, Amélie at Tam, and what she recommends is to use some shoe glue to actually seal up all the seams that we have on this side, and that will fix the problem. So let's do this. Alright, the foot stove. The foot stove. Alright, the wood stove. The wood stove. See here, like, actually it got really hot last night, and the snow actually melted on the ground. So now this is what you're seeing here, but it is my actual lawn. And this is the wood stove. So I think it's made in the US, but it's made for Esker. This is a Canadian company, I believe, in Ontario. And yeah, here, made in the US. It's written here. And it's great, man. Seriously, I love it. Here I have a dampener. This is currently closed. This is all open, and see, it doesn't close back. You know, it's very well balanced. Here in the front I have these venting port. Works really well. Here, open. I custom made this thing here. Oh wow, there's a fire going on. I made these this thing here, and this is to prevent the wood to actually be at the bottom of your stove, and it helps with longevity, and it's also help with air circulation. So I wish the stove came with one, you know, by default. Yeah, there's still fire inside. And voilà, so fire. Alright, so this is my second night in my winter setup. Let me walk you through my sleeping system. My sleeping system is a three pieces system. So I have here the first layer that you see here, the silvery shiny pad, is thermarest redressed. So the silvery surface here allegedly reflect heat back up to your own body and insulate you from the cold ground. And it has an R value of 2.1. R value is thermal resistance, and it's amazing. Like here, you know, just putting my hand where actually I feel nothing at all. Like having my hand here makes it feel like I was, you know, touching like a neutral surface. It doesn't feel, definitely doesn't feel warm, but it doesn't feel cold at all. You know, not like any other object that I have here around me. And I'm on hard snow here. This is almost ice. So the second object of that first layer is the mattress, which is also a thermarest, and this is the model Mondo King 3D. And this one, it's self-inflating, meaning you just open the valve and it will get to that nice 11 centimeter, you know, a little bit more than 4 inches of thickness. That's not all. I also use a sleeping bag, and my sleeping bag here is very normal. This is just a Coleman, and this one is rated to -7. Hello cat, how do you do? I have a visitor. And that thermarest, the Mondo King 3D, is very comfy. It, you know, I sleep really well on this mattress. Yes, it's a bit bulky, you know, when you're moving out there, but with the sled I can really pack up a lot of stuff, you know, the wood stove, the whole tank. So I have like it's a good amount of equipment to carry with you, but I wouldn't do what I'm doing if I didn't have that mattress here with me. So thumbs up. Okay, so I want to prepare my Guyline before actually setting up the tent next time, because the way I've done it right now, I don't think it will work when, you know, I'm under very cold temperatures. I want to be able to set up my Guylines without to have to make any nuts on site. Therefore, you know, using the S loop that I showed. And here, how do I prep my 2-end line? Here is you know, where's the magic is going to come from. So first, when you cut your paracord, you need to make sure that you burn the edge so it doesn't, you know, come fluffy and undone. And I'll do that a couple of times so it's nice. So for the section that is going to be tied up to the peg, I'm going to do a simple overhand loop. Okay, just like this. So nothing complicated. And what this allows me to do is I can pass. So here that loop already came with a piece of paracord attached, which I'm simply going to use. So I will pass that loop through and then put the end of the peg through the paracord loop that I just made. And this gives me a secure position. Okay, so this goes into the ground and all the way up that end here is going to go around the S loop on the tent. So the nut that I want here is a nut that I want to be able to adjust the tension, and you know, sometime over time you might lose some tensions also around your guy line, and you want to be able to walk around the tent and like secure things quickly. So the nut that I usually like is this line here goes to the peg, and this is the tag end. So I'll cross the tag end and the peg like this. This creates a loop. The tag end is actually on your side of the camera here. Okay. Now I will loop the tag end around here once, twice. Okay. Whoops. Twice. And now what I have is this. It's difficult. Okay. And now what I have is this. Okay. So I have my loop that I can make longer or by pulling on the line that goes to the peg. And now the tag end, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna wrap around both lines. You know, before I was going inside the loop, now I'm going over the loop. And from the other side now I'm gonna come through the loop. I'm gonna come through the loop, and you see here at the bottom I'm left with a loop here. I'm gonna use the tag end and go inside that loop. Okay, and now I'm gonna try to make the nut, you know, tighten up the nut a little. I'm gonna pull on the tag end and this part here. And everything should start to sit properly. Okay, now I'm left with a loop here, my slipping nut here, which I can adjust the tension. So as a demonstration, let me tighten this. So as a demonstration, the S loop on the tent is going to hold that loop here. So here, if I pull really hard, nothing's moving. See, the nut doesn't slip. But if I need to adjust tension, I just need to come here and actually easily slide the line, and I can increase the size. So therefore, the peg is fixed on the ground, and if I need to adjust tension, I just need to walk around the tent, around the S loop, and adjust the position of that slip nut on my main line. And that's it. I haven't decided yet on how I'm going to store them, so I can either store them nicely packaged with the peg itself, and you know, it already looped at the base. The only thing I need to do is unravel it. Yeah, actually, let's do it. And you know what? Let's do it with gloves. Those are my favorite winter leather gloves. They're made by Combi. Company in Quebec, great company, great wear. I even have like a zip where I can add like a hitting pads to them. So I reach the place. I'm starting up my my setup. I'm wearing those gloves because it's -20 outside, and I need to set up this. So how should I unravel this? So it's with the glove. I just okay. So this is great. Now I can peg this. Now I can peg this end here in the ground, and if I reach the end that is going to go around the S loop, The only thing I need to know is, can I operate that slip knot wearing my gloves? You bet I can. Okay, I put my S-loop here and I start adding tension like this, or releasing tension like this. And voila, super happy with this setup. This is great. Alright, so here is a better environment to do this demonstration indoor. So this is the tent, this is the base of the tent, and those are the type of loops. I have 9 loops like this around the base, and this is the snow skirt. Okay. Now, in the same philosophy where I do not want to have to tie any knots on site while I'm setting up camp, I came up with this solution where I'll have a loop already made like this, and this is the peg that I'm going to be using. Those are great, I got those from Amazon. They're aluminum, really light, very durable. And what this system allows me is to attach the tent to the peg, and I can then later adjust tension using the slip knot that I have here, sorry, on the other side. Using the slip knot that I have here. Okay, and I can adjust tension like this. Okay, they're the same knots that I did for the guylines that anchor the midsection of the tent. And now I'll make the demonstration again using my gloves. You know, I want to show you that I can actually set up my tent while wearing these gloves. The first thing you want to do is, I'll leave the peg on the side for now. What you need to do is to actually pass a loop of paracord through the loop of the tent, and then you pass it through itself. Okay, so that ties the line to your tent. Now I need to make sure that this system here is not at the end of the loop, so I need to kind of slide it into the middle of the tent. So I will loosen up this area, which is, yes, not easy using gloves, but not impossible. Okay, just like so. So right now we have the loop. Here I have my tension system here, and I have the end of the loop here. Now what I need to do is just making a tiny loop, passing it through one of the holes inside the peg, and flip it over the top like this, and then you tighten up, and then you pull on it, and now it's secure. And this goes into the ground and it's attached. So now let's say I need to tighten things down. All I need to do is come here to this line here, and I can adjust the tension in it, or release tension. Okay, yay! So this is great. To remove it, you just do this. Now in the event where the ground is too hard and you cannot drive the stake through the maybe it's some rock under the snow or ice, and you cannot go through, you will use a dead man anchor style, where you, instead of driving down the stake, you'll make a hole in the snow, put the peg inside of it, and then cover the hole and with snow, of course, and pack it down. Okay, so you start like this. Okay, so you hold the loop, you twist it, and then you fish, and then you bury this in the snow, and that should be able to hold your tent. Or a safer way would be to use one of these holes here, so you get it through like this. So even this, there's no sliding possible using it this way. All right. Alright, so you made it till the end of this video. So I didn't expect at all that video to be lengthy, but there, you know, as I was making it, I realized there was so much materials, and I didn't cover, you know, everything that I wanted to cover. So the rest that I couldn't add into this video will be covered at some point later. So thank you for sticking, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I would love, you know, if you're like-minded, you know, if you like the stuff that I'm doing and you're interested in gear and the outdoor and everything that pertains to hunting, fishing, this is the type of video I want to make. I have other videos on my channel, you can have a look, and please consider subscribing. To finish on the subject of the teepee itself, I spent 3 nights total. Now I know, you know, I've kind of seen the pros and cons of that setup. There's things that I fixed, you know, like the water dripping inside, this is fixed, the loop system, the nuts, this is great. I want this to serve as an example that it's really no, the wild is no jokes, you know, the wilderness is not your friend. There is this romantic idea of the wild being awesome, and it is awesome, but you also need to go in prepared, okay? It's important, you know, your life depends on it. It could come up to that. And when you're having new piece of gear, I really urge every one of you to try your gear, try your knowledge before you actually go into the wild, because once you're out there, you're alone, you're on your own, and you are the person responsible for whether you make it alive or not, okay? So make sure you trust your gear before you're heading out. That's what I'm trying to say here. Till next time, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.